And so we got this, some fresh, what is this? Aspen, natural aspen. I really like the way it looks. It's super absorbent. And I've been using it for years, no problem. It's a softwood, so if the snake ingests it, it's fine. It'll go right on through. And we have this girl coming out of her tub. She's done soaking. So yes, I soak my snakes together. Those are all females. And let's see this beautiful girl. I'm only using one hand here. Normally I would use two to support her. And there she is in her fresh new tub. This is a Super Orange Dream Vanilla. Beautiful head stamp. She's a sweet girl. Now I got her from a breeder. She was already full grown, so she's a little bit jumpy. She'll never really get used to like being out of the tub, because if they've been in a tub at a breeder for years, their brain has just atrophied. They've had no stimulation, no sensory stimulation at all, no light. See how jumpy she is? No light, no movement, no pressure. I mean, these tubs that I'm even using, but that professional ball python breeders, industrial ball python breeders use, are sensory deprivation chambers, is what I think. So yeah, I bought all these racks a while ago when I thought that breeding this way was cool. And over time, the more I've learned about ball pythons, the more I realized, nope, not cool. And so what do? I take them out every day. This whole room I've turned into a snake room. It's a small spare bedroom. Let's give you a kind of look around. And yeah, a lot of buckets with bedding and cleaning. And here's the soak tub. Hey, sweetie. And here's my racks. There's my incubator. And so I have this room, and see this? This is essential. These little draft door jams for the draft. Yeah. So I can have the snakes roaming around in here and not worry that they are going to escape. Let's see in here. Now this is Aura. She's a 12-year-old female, and she's had many, many clutches for me, and this is one of her daughters. She's a year old. She actually a little bit more than a year. Maybe almost 2. And yes, I house my ball pythons together so that they get some sort of movement stimulation, pressure stimulation. The smaller snakes love to have the bigger snakes squash them down. They love that pressure. They curl up with each other. They do not fight. I feed them separately. I don't feed them in the same tub, because if they both strike at the same mouse or rat, that can get ugly. It's happened to me a few times. So I do feed them in separate tubs separately. Never had a problem. They don't, freak out in a new tub. They eat. And now that they know when they come out of their tub they're going to eat, they're all for it. They are ready. And they also soak. So now, let's get this girl. This is a chocolate hypo. Look at that. Man, that's just so beautiful, right? Chocolate Jean, Codom, and the recessive hypo, my favorite. And let's see. Nope, wrong one. I'm going to put her in here. Come on, chocolate girl. Once again, I'm using one hand. And I would normally use 2 for a snake this big, but let's see. There you go, baby. Now this girl, I've had since she was very young. I didn't hatch her myself, but she's been handled daily for a few years now. And you can see she's just not as jumpy. She's cool. She's been soaking for a while. So she wants to go back into her tub and get warm. She's got fresh bedding. And she's going to probably take a nap for the rest of the day. And later tonight, I'll let her out, and she can have access to this whole room. Now, I don't let all my snakes out at once. 2 or 3 at a time. Any more than that, you risk losing them, not finding them, losing track of them. I have a few dozen snakes, and so Hi, beautiful girl. You're so sweet. Oh, yeah. Okay. I'll see you later tonight, baby. Go on. Bye, chocolate girl. So, yeah. Just wanted to show off my ball python room. And this is where I do all my breeding and observations. I watch my snakes all day long for all kinds of behavior clues. That's why I do things differently, like get them out every day, let them soak. I've heard breeders and popular YouTube snake enthusiasts, influencers say that no, ball pythons don't like soaking, they don't need to soak, they're not soakers. Yes, they are. These animals evolved in very tropical conditions in equatorial Africa where it rains every day. There are puddles and small lakes and streams. Now, they're not going to cross rivers. They're not aquatic snakes. But they're large-bodied snakes that need to soak in some kind of water. I'm sure in the wild they're finding puddles everywhere. There's water everywhere. They're not crossing rivers. They're not swimming oceans. They're soaking their skin. They're defecating. Many times, as soon as I put the snake in here, they will go to the bathroom because in the wild, they defecate in water. They don't live where they poop. That's why when they're in these tubs and they go to the bathroom, they don't want to do that. They rather go in the water. And so my snakes, a lot of times, go in the water. These haven't. But I feel good about that. That's how they do it in nature. And I want to make this, not natural. I'm not trying to recreate a rainforest here. But there are certain basic things I think we have taken ball pythons and just, put them aside that they don't need space and soaking water and be able to lift their heads more than 3 inches and need to exercise and move their body vertically and horizontally. These are giant, basically spines with muscles that need to be used. And when they're sitting in a tub for 10 years, no light, no stimulation, that's almost sadistic. I'm sorry. I gotta do something. I gotta change something. That's why I started this channel. I'm interested in anyone else out there who's breeding in tubs but doing things differently, putting empathy above efficiency. These tubs are all about efficiency. And wow, they're great. The snakes don't escape. Temperature and humidity. Here's a pair. Temperature and humidity are great in these tubs. You can pinpoint it down and dial it in. They don't make a good hide. They say tubs make great hides. No, they don't. A snake needs to feel pressure all over its body. All over, real, real tight. In a tub, it can't do that, can it? The bottom of its body, but maybe right here if it's on the side. But they don't feel safe in that. Tubs are the worst of both worlds. They don't have enough room to be a decent habitat, and they aren't small and tight enough to be a decent hide. They're terrible. But that's what I got. That's what I'm using. I love breeding snakes. I love breeding my ball pythons. And I don't see myself moving away from these racks just because I have a very small apartment and a lot of snakes, and anything else just wouldn't be feasible. So here's a Super Enchi Hypo. Hatched right here. I also put rocks, a lot of things for them to, lift their bodies up. They have to like this. I find them resting on that all the time. Using these rocks, they really like to rest their head. I noticed they're really into just resting their head like that. Just a little elevation difference, a little bit of a texture that they can rub against. This is molded plastic. They have no texture, right? Imagine their brains have just evolved to find all kinds of textures all over their body, twigs, rocks, wet, dry, green, brown, cold, hot, all these different centuries, and they're put in this tub with one temperature, one tiny height where they can barely lift their head. They can't even periscope or swallow correctly. It's time to make a change on these tubs. We can do better. We can do better.